Hello guys and welcome to another MK Mobile character review, today featuring the Emperor, Shao Kahn. As usual guys, please note the date when this video has been recorded because a lot of things may have changed since then, and if you're not familiar with the matrix I'm using to evaluate characters, you can find it on the top right corner of the screen. So without any further ado, let's put Konqueror Shao Kahn to the test. Probably you won't be surprised if I tell you that Konqueror Shao Kahn has one of the highest stats in the game. After all, he is a diamond character who is exclusively obtainable through a specific game mode, Relic Hunt. So, the attack of Konqueror Shao Kahn is 65,205, which is the fourth highest in MK Mobile. The hit points, they're 132,480, the second highest in the game. Basically only Klassik Jax has more HP than Shao Kahn. The toughness, it is 52,920, the sixth highest in the game, and the recovery is 49,140, the ninth highest in MK Mobile. Basically in all four of his basic stats, Shao Kahn is in top 10. And of course, when it comes to the power generation, it is 130%, so he gets 7 out of 7 points there, for the total of 25.8 out of 28 possible points for his basic stats. That's incredible.
You suck.
Special one of Shao Kahn, guys, is called Hammer Throw. You have to keep in mind that it can be completely blocked by the opponent. It has stun as main debuff. It can be cast from a distance, even for long distance, you don't need to worry about that. The first mini hit of the special will miss, but this is not a big deal at all because the main damage is dealt on the second mini hit. The ability is lethal and it consists of 2 mini attacks. When it comes to damage, the minimum damage of Shao Kahn Special 1 is 21,517, which is the 7th highest in the game. The same applies to the maximum damage of his special attack, it is 43,035. And once again, let's repeat the properties of his special attack. It is completely blockable, so the opponent can block all the damage. It has stun as main debuff. It can be cast from distance, no issues there. It is lethal and it consists of 2 mini attacks. So for his special one, Shao Kahn gets 9.7 out of 12 points. That's very nice achievement. Emperor's Bash, this is the name of Shao Kahn's special 2, and quite frankly this is the bread and butter of Shao Kahn. What you need to remember about this ability is that first, it cannot be blocked as long as you are close to the opponent. It's really important. If you are away from your enemy, the special attack will completely miss. So as long as you're close to him or her, the opponent cannot block your special attack. That's really important. Another thing you need to know about this ability is that it doesn't have any buff or debuff. It is lethal and it consists of 2 mini attacks. And let's take a look at the damage. The minimum damage of Shao Kahn Special 2 is 55,945. This is the second highest in MK Mobile. When it comes to the maximum damage, it is 109,740, the third highest in MK Mobile. So who cares that it doesn't have any buff or debuff when you can straight ahead kill the opponent without any issues. So let's repeat the properties of the ability. It is completely unblockable, it doesn't have buff or debuff unfortunately. Again, unfortunately it cannot be cast from distance, the ability will miss, so be very careful there. Special 2 of Shao Kahn is lethal and it consists of 2 mini hits. So the total amount of points he gets here is 12.1 out of 18. However, don't let the numbers deceive you. He doesn't score that high only because his special 2 doesn't have any buff or debuff and it will miss from distance. Apart from that, this is one of the best special 2s in the game.
You suck.
It's official, this is the name of Shao Kahn's X-Ray. It is one of those X-Rays that can be cast from distance. And another beautiful thing about it is that it has shield as main buff. which, as you probably well know, means that the shield will be applied to all members of your team. And when it comes to damage, the damage of his X-ray is 129,105, which is the 7th highest in NK Mobile. Once again, the X-ray can be cast from distance and has shield as main buff, so you can consider putting Shao Kahn in a monk team. And by the way, I'm pretty serious there, you can do that. And when it comes to the points, he gets 3.9 out of 4 for his X-ray and 25.7 out of 34, which is the total score for his special attacks. A lot of people out there are claiming that Shao Kahn is probably the slowest character in MK Mobile, and probably they're right. Really, the speed of his basic attacks is atrocious. I cannot really think of a character who is slower than Shao Kahn. However, when it comes to basic attacks chaining, he is not that bad. I would say that his chaining is mediocre. It's definitely not good, because if the opponent is blocking, Shao Kahn doesn't push him back. But if the opponent is not blocking, he performs quite good. So, after all, I will be giving 1.5 for his basic attack speed and 3 points for his basic attack chaining, for the total of 4.5 out of 10 possible points. Okay, I will start with the fact that I'm a huge fan of Shao Kahn's passive. It is called Killing the Weak. Basically, it is divided in two parts. The first part is all about killing an enemy who is below 40% HP. Basically, it doesn't matter if you have Bone Shield, it doesn't matter if you have Ice Shield, it doesn't matter if you have any shield, you're going to die if you're below 40% HP to Shao Kahn's special tool. Of course, this works only once per game. The second part of the special is that he has 45% chance to throw his hammer when an outward character in his team tags in. So let's cover the first part, which is personally my favorite. I really like Shao Kahn's passive because of its uniqueness and because actually it counters the current meta in the game. It is very useful against Jades, because if Jade is below 40% health, she cannot evade Shao Kahn's brutality. By the way, I was told recently that she actually can do it, but really every time when I face her with Shao Kahn, she's below 40, she doesn't do it. So if it's something recently implemented in the game, please let me know, guys. But until now, I've never seen it myself. Another thing, for example, Slasher Jason, even if he hasn't used his passive yet, if he's below 40% HP, he will die. Also, Cold War team, it doesn't matter if they have shield, it doesn't matter if they have Revenant, it doesn't matter if they have Bone Shield, they will straight ahead die, which is very useful also against teams that rely on Resurrectors, such as Warlock Quan Chi, or teams that rely on, let's say, MK11 Sub-Zero or Spec of Scorpion, for example. I believe you got the idea. That is why I really appreciate Shao Kahn's passive. Not to mention that, quite honestly, his special 2 is so strong that it will one-shot a fully maxed diamond character with maxed equipment. This is how strong it is. And when it comes to the second part of his passive, it is really fun and quite useful, because first it can disrupt enemy basic attacks, pretty funny. Also, it can crit, deal a lot of damage, and of course it can straight ahead kill an enemy who is, let's say, 50 or 60% full HP, which is incredible. So I'm gonna be honest, I'll be giving the full amount of points for Shao Kahn passive. I really love this passive. I love the first part of it, I love the second part of it. It's really an amazing and unique passive. And by the way, I will have to add to the passive the fact that if you equip him with Rat Hammer and his helmet, he can start the game with 4 bars of power. It's really, we don't have a section to evaluate certain weapons, but there isn't a character in the game yet who has such unique interaction with certain equipment. So I believe you got the idea why I'm giving the full amount of points for Shao Kahn. Probably some of you will disagree with me, but it is what it is. I really like his passive. I really like the way he tags in with the "you suck" thing. I really like the fact that he's the only character in the game who can start with 4 bars of power. This is incredible. And in the end, Shao Kahn is just an outward character, so he gets 1 point for classes and 0 points for tagging attack. Okay guys, we got to the most important part of the video. Here we have to decide whether Shao Kahn is a good character, and probably the answer will be definitely yes. He has amazing stats, great damage on Special 1 and Special 2. Special 2 is a grapple that is unblockable. Unfortunately, it can miss from distance and it doesn't have any buff or debuff, which is the only drawback of a character. And of course, I have to mention the slow basic attacks, but this is not a big deal considering the fact that Shao Kahn is all about casting special abilities. He is not about hitting people with basic attacks. And this leads me probably to his biggest drawback, and it is first that he is very power hungry. Without power he is not that useful at all, and second, he is very item dependent. If you don't have his items, he is really not that great, but once you get the items he becomes amazing. So I'll be giving him 3 out of 3 of my entirely subjective points. I really like Shao Kahn, everything about him, all the themes that you can build about him, the fact that you can use him as the main damage dealer in the team, the fact that you can use him as a support relying on his hammer, which can actually deal pretty cool damage. So in the end of the day guys, Shao Kahn scored 80 points out of 100. We never had a character in the series so far that can go that high, so we can definitely label Shao Kahn as an amazing character, our first amazing character that scores equal or over 80 points. Final verdict, amazing. Okay guys, as usual, I will start the gameplay section by telling you never to use Shao Kahn as an opener. He is the worst opener in the game, trust me. With this set, let's proceed to the characters that he counters. A lot of things I can say here, by the way. So first, he counters characters who evade special attacks, such as Assassin Jade, Assassin Kitana, Relentless Jason. Reason being, if they're below 40% HP, they cannot evade Shao Kahn's brutality. He also counters characters that resurrect, such as Unstoppable Jason and Slasher Jason. Again, if they're below 40% HP, they cannot resurrect, they simply die. So in other words, they cannot use their passives. And of course we have to mention characters that resurrect other characters, such as Warlock Quan Chi and MK11 Sub-Zero. Once you use your brutality on a character, he cannot be resurrected by Warlock Quan Chi or MK11 Sub-Zero, it's just not possible. And of course it cannot be saved by Spec Ops Scorpion. And when it comes to characters that counter Konqueror Shao Kahn, in most of the cases we're talking about characters that drain power, because Shao Kahn is really not that strong without power. The first character that comes to mind is Klassik Raiden, very tough matchup for Shao Kahn. The same applies to Injustice 2 Raiden, even worse matchup for Shao Kahn. Punkasi, another very difficult opponent. The same applies for Combat Cap Sonya, because she can literally power drain Shao Kahn. Even if he has 4 bars of power, she can power drain him completely and leave him out of the battle, and you don't want this to happen. And the last character who is a hard matchup for Shao Kahn is Ravenous Melina, because she can stun and simply kill him. And the other character who counters Shao Kahn a lot should be Classic Liu Kang, because of his passive. Every time when he tags in, or anybody in his team tags in, he will cripple the opponent, in our case Shao Kahn, and if Shao Kahn is unable to use his special attacks, he is not that great. Another tough opponent for Shao Kahn is Triborg Sub-Zero, because he has shield on tag in, and of course he has Frostbite, because in general every character with Frostbite or Power Drain is a difficult opponent for Shao Kahn. Let's proceed to the best item set, guys. In my opinion, there is only one item set that you should give to Shao Kahn. You have to equip him with Rat Hammer, with his helmet. That's logical, because those two items actually amplify each other. You have to give him also Soul Medallion as an accessory, and Bloody Tomahawk. If you give him those 4 items and you have in your team more full Kitana, this means that Shao Kahn will start with 4 bars of power. That's incredible. And as we are talking about more full Kitana, we will proceed to the best teams section. And quite frankly, if you have more full Kitana, I would advise you always to team her up with Shao Kahn. These 2 guys have incredible synergy. And in my opinion, the best team, the ultimate team for Shao Kahn consists of Morphu Kitana, Master of Souls Ermac, and Shao Kahn. Of course, this team has its own variations. For example, if you don't have Master of Souls Ermac, you can use Day of the Dead Kitana. It will work perfectly, and quite frankly, you can build a lot of troll teams using Shao Kahn. You can use Monk, you can use Leatherface. It's all about amplifying your tagging attack, or plainly building an X-ray team using Monk. Very fun to play.
You suck!
Okay guys, we reached the end of the video. Shao Kahn was the first ever character to reach 80 points in the series, and we labeled him as an amazing character. Once again, his only weaknesses are first, he's item dependent, and second, his basic attacks are not really that fast. Okay guys, how do you feel about Shao Kahn? Do you like him? Do you dislike him? Please let me know in the comments, and as always, if you want to see more reviews, you can find them on the top right corner of the screen. So, until next time guys, take care.
Don't make me laugh! Perfect!